What's up, everybody? Back when I made a cover of Laramee by Richy Mitch, a couple people were asking for the tabs and how I voice things, so I figured I would make this video real quick, for them and in the future if I ever want to look back and I forget how to play this song. Um, you know, Disclaimer, I'm not a guitar teacher and I don't really know what I'm doing, so this is just going to be sort of walking through how I pieced it together and how I think about it. But this entire sort of voicing everything from this way that I played it was from the Bluegrass Situation channel of Mitch playing Laramee. It was like the Down in the Valley sessions, something. I'll put the video in the description. But the way that I learned it was watching that video. There are a couple shots where you can see sort of his hand positions, and then just ripping the audio off YouTube and just listening to it slowly, and sort of piecing it together by ear. And Donnie helped a lot with that. Donnie's got a great ear. So if you've got a friend with a great ear, you can piece it together real easy. So the whole song is pieced together basically in three different parts. There is the intro and the ending sort of finger picking section. Then there's two different sort of chord patterns that he strums while he's singing. So I'm going to start with the chord structures because the finger picking is basically just following that same chord structure. So it'll help the intro and ending finger picking a little easier if you can get the chords down first. I'll have sort of like chord diagrams or something up here, maybe like tabs written for the voicings that I'm using for the chords, because I can't really explain it entirely correctly musically. So I'm just going to sort of go through slowly the pattern, and then have some supporting diagram here. So you could just slow it down and follow if you want to. So you're going to start capo on the 4th fret. And the first chord is this G shape here. And then the second one is this kind of shape. I don't know what chord this is called. And then you have your E minor shape. And then your C over G. Then you go back to a G shape. And then sort of this in-between chord, you're going to go back to this E minor, but it's going to be like a... And that is just only finger on is this first finger here. So it's just like first string, 2nd fret, all the rest open. So it's going to be like, and then back to your C over G shape. And then that's just going to loop. So it's going through the whole thing. So that's going to repeat a couple times through like the first verse and a bunch of the rest of the song. So yeah, the strumming pattern that I'm playing, or from what I heard from the video, is basically just down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. And that's just continued through the whole thing. The only thing that really breaks that pattern is that little section where you're going 1, 2. It's just sort of just 2 strums there to sort of carry it through. So playing that first section all together again, we'll go slowly here. And then in the end, when he's sort of transitioning to the next verse, you have in your C over G shape, I sort of just slide it forward. That's adds a little like fun notes. I like the way that this voicing sounds with the low here and then this top note. So again, at the end, it's just going to be. And I just do 4 down strums for that to sort of add a little interesting ending there. So again, all together. That's your first pattern, and then you repeat it. and then it just repeats again. So at the end of the second verse, you're going to be on this sort of C over G shape. And then when the chorus starts, you're going to hit into the E minor, A minor, C, G, C over G, G again. And then you do this little hop back to the E minor, and then it repeats A minor, C, G, C over G, and then you could slide up again. So that's that little chorus section. So that's basically the whole thing. You just then go back to the verse section and the chorus section, and you sort of work back and forth through those two. Okay, so now we're at the finger picking part of the song. I tried sort of walking through how to play it, but it was a little difficult. So right after I go through some of like the basic things to sort of preface this next section, I have a section right after this that's just zoomed in on my left hand. I play through the whole finger picking section, and I will have the tabs up on the screen that you can follow. That'll give the full explanation of how to play it. Before that happens, I'll just talk through a little bit about some of like the structure. So the chord structure of the finger picking section is exactly the same as the verse, with a couple different riffs and a little fun things thrown in there to make it a little more interesting, and then sort of like a connecting little riff when you repeat it. So you're just going to be following those same chords. So it's your G shape, then the weird shape, then the E minor to the C over G, et cetera, et cetera. And you're just going to be following that through. The pattern that you're going to be playing with your hands is your thumb, pointer, middle, and ring finger as 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to be playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 4, 3, 2. So if I just start on this G chord, it sounds like. So that's what the pattern that you're going to be playing. So if I'm playing it through slowly, it's the bass starts on this first string, and then it sort of alternates between the first and the second string as you play through the finger picking section. So you start on your G chord, then your weird chord. This time the bass is on the second string, then down to your E minor, back to the first string bass. And then this time you add this note on the third fret of that top string. And then you go to your C shape, and this is where a little fancy thing comes in. Bass on the second again. So that's just, I move my first finger when I do that basically the whole time. So without all the other fingers, it's. And your ring finger, or your middle finger, is going to be on the string already. So it's basically just moving your first finger around like. Okay, so it's, and then here you go down to your G, but it's sort of interrupted by this little jump to the E minor, so it's, and I move to the top bass strings here because I like the way it sounds better. And then this little interjection when you slide forward, and then down. I'm not going to talk through this riff. You can just watch this next section, but it's. So I play the riff like that. In the actual video, if you listen, he doesn't do the extra ending there to sort of bring it back to the one. He sort of cuts those last three notes. So I think he plays it something like. And then just goes back into it. I had the little extra thing just to, it makes sense rhythmically in my head to do it that way. So he doesn't do the boom boom, he just cuts it early and goes into the next section. Whatever you want to do. But after that little riff, you just repeat that last section again. So it's, and then back into the same pattern we were playing before. Fun little first finger thing, jump to the E minor, up here, and then the way I just end it is just playing this a couple times, shift it up again, So yeah, and then you go into your strumming section. You'll notice same chords you were just playing in the finger picking section. You can also end it not by repeating this like thing. You can just strum. You can start strumming there. So if you have the whatever you want to do. So that is the finger picking section. Here's a quick little video of playing it all the way through so that you can really follow it along, slow down the video, whatever you need to do. That's how I played Laramee. Future James, if you're ever watching this, good luck relearning this song. Took a while. But yeah, if you want to learn it the same way I did, go watch that video in the description. There are some really great shots of him playing, and you can sort of grab everything from there. Shout out Richy, Mitch. Great band. One of the best. Enjoy.